Hey guys, how you doing? I'm just finishing up my chores and I thought we'd do the video right here today. Out in the great outdoors of Canada, this is the latest news from my country here. Over the past 2 weeks, 143 flights with confirmed COVID cases have landed in this country. 11 months after the pandemic has started. 143 flights, international flights, have landed in this country over the past 2 weeks with confirmed COVID cases. And of course our government, excuse me, it's cold out here, is very quick to respond. Crystia Freeland, our Deputy Prime Minister, I've got some notes here, I'm going to refer to them. She says that she's looking seriously into this issue, and she made a statement. I'm going to read the statement. She said, quote, "With the virus raging around the world, we need to be sure our borders are really, really secure. Really, really secure. We want our borders to be really, really secure." We thought that it was okay when they were really secure a little while ago, but we have huge outbreaks all across our country, and there's people landing dozens of flights every day with confirmed cases, and so really secure wasn't good enough. We're going to make sure now that the borders are really, really secure. How did she get her job? I think the Prime Minister must have interviewed her and said, in order to get the job as the Deputy Prime Minister, you have to really hate the coronavirus. And she said, I do. I really hate the coronavirus. He said, no. You have to really hate the coronavirus. And she said, I do. I really, really hate the coronavirus. And he said, oh yeah? How much do you hate the coronavirus? And she said, a lot. Good, you're hired. You can be the Deputy Prime Minister. And you can really, really look seriously at culture. How do they get... Okay, there's a couple other politicians that weighed in, like our Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, who made the profound statement just recently on this issue of people, international travel being open in our country and confirmed cases of COVID coming into our country on international flights, dozens of them every day. He made this statement, I'm going to read, quote, listen to the irony in this statement. This guy meticulously writes down and has choreographed everything that he says. This is the exact words. He said, we are leaving the door open to tighter restrictions. Our Prime Minister said, he chose those words. We are leaving the door open to possibly having tighter restrictions. We have decided to leave the doors open, as we have for the past 11 months since this pandemic started, because we really, as you've heard from my Deputy Prime Minister, we really hate the coronavirus, and we're going to leave the doors open to possibly being stricter about things. You can't make this shit up, guys. You can't make this shit up. The buffoonery is just, I'm going to give you another quote here. In response to her boss leaving the doors open to possibly having some more restrictions, the Deputy Prime Minister released another statement. She said, we are together considering the issue very, very strongly. We considered the issue very strongly earlier when we really hated the coronavirus, but now that we really hate the coronavirus, we're going to consider the issue very, very carefully. We are saved now because rest assured, Canadians, rest assured, our Prime Minister is leaving the door open to the possibility of more restrictions, and the Deputy Prime Minister, who really hates the coronavirus, is now going to be very, very serious about it. But rest assured, Canadians, that it is not only the governing party that is in charge. We do have opposition parties, and luckily we have the leader of the opposition, the leader of the Conservative Party, Erin O'Toole, is furious at the Liberal Party, which is the governing party, furious at the Liberals because he accuses them of not having a plan to deal with the corporation Pfizer. Now that Pfizer is having issues at their Belgium plant, retooling their plant so they can ramp up production of their vaccine, which they are selling to the whole world. While they're doing this retooling, Canada doesn't get any new vaccines because all of our vaccines come from this Pfizer plant in Belgium. The leader of the Conservative Party is going to hold the Liberals accountable because they do not have a plan on how to deal with Pfizer. They've closed the plant. Do you have a plan to react to this? Maybe we should send them a strongly worded letter. We're very angry and concerned with you that you've closed this plant and you no longer have vaccines to send to us. The member of the Conservative Party is very angry with me and is accusing me of not having a plan. I should have had a plan. If I had a plan, I could... well, what could I do? What the fuck are we going to do? They closed the plant. All right? It's going to be 2-3 weeks until they retool it. We can't buy any. It's not for sale now. They're delaying the shipments. What plan? But the icing on the cake has to be the biggest moron for this particular week in Canadian politics has to be, funny enough, it's the runner-up from the biggest moron of 2020. It's got to be Doug Ford, the Premier of Ontario, who just can't help but make himself into an ass on almost a daily basis, completely, totally, utterly embarrassing himself, embarrassing the whole country. Do you know what he did? Some of you that aren't Canadian or watching this are thinking, well, what could he possibly do? You Canadians are embarrassing all the time. You're always apologizing. You must be embarrassed constantly. This poor guy, do you know what he did? He went on television. And begged Joe Biden, the newly elected president of the United States, begged him and asked him, I quote, he said, Joe, come on, Joe. You've got 100 million doses. Why don't you just give me 1 million of them? He went on television and begged Joe Biden, the president of the United States, you have so many for yourself, Joe, and you're your friends. I'm not the Prime Minister of Canada. I'm the Premier of Ontario, but I'm your friend. Can you please send me 1 million doses? I'm Conservative and we have a Liberal Prime Minister and he doesn't have a plan to deal with Pfizer. Please, Joe. He actually did this.
Give us 1 million vaccines. You have 100 million down there. Give your great neighbor that stands shoulder to shoulder with you 1 million vaccines to keep us going, get us over the hump. That's what we'd love to see off the president.
Meanwhile, the shit show that surrounds us it's complete chaos. It's complete chaos in my country now. They're shutting down left, right, and center. Things are going to shit. There's the mom and pop shop grocery store on the corner that would gladly restrict their store to 1 customer at a time so that they can earn their meager living selling small little bits of groceries to try and survive. That is too dangerous and they're shut down. But if you want to go line up at Walmart, 200 people in line with carts and getting into the store and lining up, that's okay. You can go to Walmart and Superstore and whatever, all the big but you can't, like one person can't go into the poor corner store. People are going, it's nuts, I tell ya. And I have had a coffee. I've had a couple of coffees, so today's video is a little bit more energetic. And then, of course, there's the whiners and complainers and pathetic, useless. The story of the woman lives in the suburbs of Toronto in Ontario that is on the news. We have to watch this on the news. She's so shattered and feels so helpless. I haven't had a pedicure for weeks. And my hair. She's upset because she hasn't had a pedicure for weeks and her hair, something, isn't shaped like, because the hairdressers are, the barbershops, what do women go to barbershops or hairdressers or salons, whatever they're called? So it's so hard for her. All I can say is one thing to you, lady. The 3 words. Boo fucking who. And now, of course, the next step is probably going to be the topic of a video in the weeks to come, is the vaccine rollout fuck up. Right? It's already a colossal fuck up, but now it's going to be even worse because nobody in the government has any clue on how to distribute this stuff. They're already arguing. The provinces are arguing with the federal government. The liberals are arguing with the conservatives. The conservatives are, well, how come we can't make our vaccines ourselves in our country? Why do we have to rely on Belgium? And then the liberals are saying, well, when you were in power, you shut down all the vaccine manufacturers. And it's just a complete and utter shit show, bunch of clowns. And so I'm going to, maybe I should do it. Okay, this is what you got to do, okay? Eventually, when the Pfizer plant opens, they're going to send us some vaccines. They're going to send us like hundreds of thousands and millions of them. So you're going to have to get ready, okay? You're going to have to get ready. A plane's going to land with lots of boxes filled with vaccines. So you're going to have to be able to pick them up and drive them somewhere into a warehouse. You're going to need somewhere in a warehouse to store them that's suitable. Okay, you're going to have to figure out renting some space somewhere, some warehouses, or maybe some of the big places that you've closed down. You could use some stadiums or the hundreds of millions of buildings, or the hundreds of buildings that have been closed down that are vacant right now. You could probably use some of those. Then you're going to have to store the vaccines there. Then eventually you're going to have to move them around the country so that everyone can get some. So you're going to need some sort of transportation to move them around in the country. I would suggest maybe trucks. You're going to need trucks, lots of trucks, and lots of truck drivers. Okay, you're probably going to have to find some truck drivers now, because when you say, let's drive the oh, I thought you got the truck drivers. Don't look at me, right? It'll be too late if you wait. So get the truck drivers now. And after you get the truck drivers, you're going to deliver them to various parts of the country. And you're going to need people to, let me think, administer the vaccine, inject it into people. So you'll probably need, and I'm going to take a wild guess here, you might not have thought as, nurses. You'll probably need nurses. Nurses mean men or women that are nurses. Why did I say that? Because I always thought nurses was a feminine term, but it's not. Nurses just refers to, see, why has society somehow made me believe that a nurse refers to a female, and I was thinking, what is the term for a male nurse? There is no term for a male nurse. Why do we call them waiter and waitresses then? We changed that now. We call them servers. So why didn't we change the name of nurses? I don't know. Sometimes I have no fucking idea what I'm talking about. Now, here's something they probably haven't thought of yet, but I'm going to let you know right now. You're probably going to need a lot of cotton balls and syringes. Those might come in handy. In fact, I'm going to let you know how many you need. There's approximately 38 million Canadians, 35, 36, 37 million. We actually don't know because we can't even fucking count. But let's say there's 40 million Canadians, just rounding it up. You're going to need 2 syringes per Canadian. That's about 80 million syringes. I would probably err on the safe side and say, make it an even 100 million. You need 100 million syringes, and you're going to need at least double that amount of cotton balls, because I know people are usually fairly generous with the cotton balls. Let's say 200,000 cotton balls. Where the hell are we going to get that? I know. China. Isn't that ironic? We are in a battle for our lives to save ourselves from this virus that originated in China, and now we're going to need to buy a shit ton of cotton balls and syringes from China in order to win. Doesn't that just say it all? Do you think the organization of our political leaders and elites is going to be able to administer this and try and do this properly? Not a hope, right? Not a hope. Here's a suggestion. This is just my serious now suggestion for the sake of everyone in my country. What kind of organization could we entrust with trying to carry out this massive task of carting around hundreds of millions of syringes and cotton balls and doses of vaccines and trying to get us all inoculated? Well, we're going to need some sort of organization that has a good structure of control from the top all the way down through its chain of command, where people listen to orders and they're organized and professional and numerous and available and ready to go when called. Do you think maybe our military would do a better job than our politicians? I think so. Call some smart generals and tell them, this is what we have to do. This is the plan. Make it happen. Because Crystia Freeland and Justin Trudeau and Doug Ford and Erin O'Toole, I'm sorry, you guys, but you just don't got what it takes. I'd rather let our women and men in uniform roll this out and try and get it right for us. Please, I think that's the right answer. But anyway, I don't know. That's my rant for today. I've had too much coffee, I know. I got to finish my chores. It's cold and we need some firewood. So have a great day, guys. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, subscribe, and hit notifications so you'll know when the lunatic's ready to post again. And have a great day. I will catch you again soon.